Hello everyone, welcome back to my shooting guide, where we take a look at the different tanks in World of Tanks, and we analyze their armor by looking at what it says on paper, compared to what it is in a real world example. Last week we started doing premium tanks. This week we're going to continue that, except that we're going to be moving on to the British. Now this may not be as long as some of the other videos, because the British don't have too many premium tanks out, but let's get started. At tier 5 we have the Excelsior. It's a fairly recent premium tank. It has 114 millimeters of armor in the front, 31 on the sides, and 108 on the rear. And the turret armor, 114 up front, and 92 on the sides and also on the rear. Alright, the Excelsior. And if you haven't figured out already, we are using Tank Inspector to look at the true armor values of this tank. So the Excelsior, this lower plate right here, ricochet. Don't shoot there. It's only got 54 millimeters of armor, but it's at such an angle that you're not going to be penetrating. Let's bump this down to about, try to get it to 90, there. And it's still a ricochet. I bumped it down to 90 because this is tier 5, you're not going to see these large caliber guns. But right here we have that band of 114 millimeters, but it's pretty flat. So it's 114 millimeters. If you got 114 millimeters penetration, you can go through that, no problem. But as we move up, again, a ricochet zone right up here because of the angle. And this flat area, 114 again, all along here. Those aren't any weak spots, so don't think you're shooting at a weak spot. And for the turret, 114 up there, except in certain areas where it's a little bit stronger because of the gun and everything, but otherwise it's 114. So pretty much if you don't have about 120 millimeters of penetration, you're not going to get through the front of the Excelsior. And that's facing straight on. If you're to angle it a little bit, you know, armor values increase, but the sides, you don't have too much to shoot at. You got tracks, you got a turret. The turret, depending on where you're shooting at, it could be anywhere from 92 to 100. Try to shoot at the flattest area possible to wherever he's showing you. If he's showing you that, you got 92. If he's showing you that flat, you got 92. So whatever is flat facing towards you. Anyways, all along here, just turn this on. If you shoot farther up, you're gonna have to have more penetration, but if you shoot farther down, you're gonna have the same. So you're gonna want to shoot about where this hatch is, about to where these rivets end, and the same goes to the front. So try to shoot between the rivets, and you'll be good. For the back, you're looking at about, well, don't shoot all the way down here, but if you're shooting up here, you're going to need about 70 millimeters of penetration. Up here, you're going to need 108. That's pretty plain and simple. And for the back of the turret, again, 92. But always shoot at the back of the turret, wherever the flattest part is to you. So the best chances of penetrating the Excelsior, if you got real low penetration, shoot the side between the rivets and shoot the back down here as long as he's not angled. That's about it for the Excelsior. Well, let's move on. Next up we have the famous Landwell TOG 2. It has 76 millimeters of frontal hull armor, 76 on the sides as well, only 50 on the rear, and the turret has 14 up front, 76 on the side, and 53 on the rear. The TOG is known for being huge. It's not known for having armor. Now you remember we are at tier 6 now, so you're gonna have to deal with some of the bigger contestants in this field. People that have at least 160 penetration, maybe even more. Yes, I'm talking about you, KB1S. 175. But we'll take a look at this anyways. So the TOG. Not much armor here to boot. If you have anything over 100, it's easy to get through even when it's angled. Up here, it's weak. Depending on the angle you're at. You see these are angled a little bit more. So the best thing would be to shoot flat on. But you do have these weak spots. If you have problems penetrating a TOG, I don't know why you would, but let's say you're in a tier 4 meeting a TOG. You want to shoot at this little box and this little thing right here if you can hit it. That's going to be your best chances of penetrating if you have problems. Otherwise, just it's a TOG. You can shoot anywhere, you'll be fine. That's if you're tier 6. And if it's not like one of those crazy bounces. It's about 94, so again, anything with 100, you can shoot the cheeks of the TOG. The gun mantlet's stronger, of course, so I wouldn't recommend shooting there. But definitely just shoot down here, you'll be fine. As for the sides, it's 76 millimeters along here and up at the turret. Again, it's just like with the Excelsior, shoot at the flattest part. But you do have weak spots here, only 64 on this little door looking thing and on this whole back portion. But don't shoot down too far because you will have to deal with 200 millimeters penetration. So just shoot on the upper part of the side, preferably in the back or on this thing. You'll be fine. As for the rear, yeah, not much going on here. It's only 51 millimeters armor, but if you shoot farther up, you're gonna have to deal with more. So the farther down you shoot, the better. And for the turret, it's only 53 on the back. Again, shoot on the most flat space you can. That'll be your best bet of penetrating. So if you are in a tier 6, some tier 5s may have problem with this, but definitely tier 6 and up you should be fine penetrating the TOG. And last up today we have the tier 7 tank destroyer AT-15A. That is quite impressive on paper. 228 hull armor in the front, 152 on the sides, and 101 on the rear. But are you really getting that much armor? Let's find out. Now the AT-15A is actually not bad with armor on the front. Down here, it's 229 millimeters right there. But since it's rounded and everything, you're going to have to deal with at least 240 millimeters of penetration. Some tier 8s don't even have that. The sides, 229, 255, 250s. So I wouldn't recommend shooting at the side either. This little thing on top, it's a little bit weaker. Only 153, depending on what you're shooting at, that is. If you can hit that. But if you can hit that, great. Go for it. Gun mantlet, yeah. You're not going through that. Tier 10 tank destroyers aren't going through that. But right here, it's only 76 millimeters. At tier 7, I think the max is about 200 millimeters with standard ammo. So you may have problems penetrating this, especially since it's angled, so shoot as far down as you can without going too far down, because then you get into this strong armor. The sides, it's pretty much 152 millimeters. Since it's really flat, well, actually it is flat, you're not going to have to deal with anything unless they're angled a little bit. Then you're going to have to deal with some more. But other than that, you should be fine. As long as your gun has enough penetration. The tracks, don't bother shooting at those because they're stronger than the sign. I end up here, this little machine gun thing. It's a weak spot. It's only 102, but with angling it's only 112, which shouldn't be a problem for tanks in this tier. And the back. 100 to, you're going to need about, if you're shooting up here, don't shoot down here, but if you're shooting up here, probably need about at least 110. Depending on your gun, you may be able to penetrate that part if you're lucky. And the back is pretty much the same as the whole back. 102 millimeters of armor, but since it's pretty flat, you know, it's need about 110. Don't shoot at the cheeks though; those are pretty much, you're not gonna penetrate. And of course, you got the back of this hatch, which you can also shoot at. So, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, let me know in the comments and give it a like. Share this with your friends and help as many people as you can. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my shooting guide, where we take a look at the different tanks in World of Tanks, and we analyze their armor by looking at what it says on paper compared to what it is in a real-world example. Last week we started doing premium tanks. This week we're going to continue that, except that we're going to be moving on to the British. Now this may not be as long as some of the other videos because the British don't have too many premium tanks out, but let's get started. At tier 5 we have the Don't Shoot There. It's only got 54 millimeters of armor, but it's at such an angle that you're not going to be penetrating. Let's bump this down to about, try to get it to 90 there. Excelsior, it's a fairly recent premium tank. It has 114 millimeters of armor in the front, 31 on the sides, and 108 on the rear. And the turret armor, 114 up front and 92 on the sides and also on the rear. Alright, the Excelsior. And if you haven't figured out already, we are using Tank Inspector to look at the true armor values of this tank. So the Excelsior, this lower plate right here, Ricochet.